It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Every interaction you enter is a battlefield, a chessboard of intent, where every smile and gesture carries potential danger. You move among rivals who conceal ambition behind courteous words, who calculate beneath polite facades, and who wait for hesitation to exploit weakness. Recognize this immediately. Your mind is your throne, and every action must defend it. Treat every handshake, meeting, and conversation as reconnaissance. Observe posture, tone, and timing. The subtle pause can reveal more than any direct confrontation. Your calm evaluation is your first line of defense. The overconfident competitor often reveals his strategy through eagerness or impatience. The manipulative peer hides it behind charm and false alignment. Map these signals, internalize them, and respond with precision. Polite aggression means asserting dominance without creating open conflict. Speak with authority, control your facial expressions, and let your movements convey purpose. The words themselves are sharpened instruments, but they are effective only when guided by a clear mind and disciplined observation. Hesitate, and you cede territory. Ignore the subtle warnings, and rivals encroach while you remain passive. Recognize that inaction is a surrender of influence. Every silent observer gains advantage over those distracted by immediate emotion. Treat each disagreement as a strategic engagement. Listen fully, respond measuredly, and maintain composure even when challenged directly. A colleague disputes a proposal aggressively. You absorb the challenge, respond with calm logic, and neutralize tension while advancing your position. In these moments, politeness is the armor and strategy is the weapon. Weak react emotionally. Strong observe, measure, and execute calmly. Weak argue loudly. Strong assert quietly with clarity. Your control over self and situation determines the outcomes of every social encounter. Let every action be deliberate. Build your presence. Anticipate maneuvers and never surrender your throne to distraction or ego. Understand the stakes. The ambitious, the unseen, the manipulative will exploit any gap. Close those gaps with vigilance, strategic patience, and composure. Walk through the battlefield unshaken, and your rivals will falter without a word. Let every polite gesture conceal readiness, and every calm word convey power. Command your space and your time, and you neutralize threats before they manifest. This is the art of destroying rivals politely. Dominance through mastery, victory without cruelty, influence without friction. Rule your mind first, then your environment will yield. Stand steady, act deliberately, and declare your mantra. Politeness is my armor, strategy my sword. Your mind is the throne upon which every battle of influence is fought. To rule others, you must first rule yourself. Without sovereign control of thought, every interaction leaves you exposed to rival ambition. Recognize that mental clarity is your first weapon. A rival's subtle gesture, the shift in tone, or a casual comment can signal intentions that, if missed, allow them to gain ground while you remain reactive. Observe without distraction. Anticipate moves before they are executed, just as a general studies the battlefield before committing troops. Emotional fortifications are equally vital. Detachment is not indifference. It is the shield that prevents impulsive responses from betraying your position. When a colleague questions your proposal with veiled criticism, you absorb the challenge, maintain composure, and respond with measured authority, disarming potential attacks without confrontation. Politeness, when applied strategically, becomes a precise instrument. It communicates power while concealing intent. Projecting command requires discipline in presence and posture. Even in silence, your observation conveys authority and vigilance, establishing dominance without the need for overt assertion. Weak react instantly to provocation. Strong, observe, analyze, and execute with calm precision. Weak, argue to assert control. Strong, hold steady, project confidence, and let action carry weight. Develop routines that maintain mental sovereignty, daily reflection, structured planning, and awareness of emotional triggers. Treat each conversation as a calculated move on a chessboard. Measure influence, anticipate countermoves, and maintain composure while advancing your position. Let every thought be deliberate, every decision informed, every response measured. In doing so, you transform ordinary social engagement into disciplined strategy, turning calm observation into power and awareness into authority. Build your internal empire first. Only then can the external world yield to your influence. Rule your mind, command your presence, and declare your mantra, sovereign mind, unshakable throne. The first light of day is a battlefield where victory is claimed before your rivals even awaken. How you begin each morning dictates the tempo of every interaction, negotiation, and social maneuver that follows. Treat dawn as your strategic advantage. Disciplined routines are reconnaissance missions that sharpen both mind and body, preparing you to anticipate moves your competitors cannot even imagine. Establish rituals that prime your senses and focus, whether it is a structured review of goals, meditation to calm the mind, or precise physical activity to energize the body. Each act is a calculated preparation, a quiet yet potent demonstration of mastery over self and circumstance. Polite preemptive strikes are your next weapon. A well-timed message, a subtly positioned insight, or the early completion of a task signals competence and foresight. These actions, seemingly small, neutralize rivals' initiatives before they have a chance to unfold, creating an invisible advantage that others will notice but cannot easily counter. Allocate your energy with the precision of a general guarding the front line. Each hour wasted or focus squandered is territory lost to the ambitious, leaving you exposed to distraction or manipulation. Weak, react to every incoming demand immediately. Strong, structure your day, prioritize strategically, and engage only when it advances your position. During a morning briefing, when a colleague attempted to overshadow your plan, you calmly presented your priorities, acknowledged their input without conceding authority, and shifted focus to collective objectives, demonstrating command without confrontation. Treat every sunrise as a fresh campaign where discipline, timing, and anticipation determine the outcome. Guard your attention, execute small but decisive actions, and establish dominance before others even take their first step. Command your morning, seize the initiative, and internalize your mantra, win before sunlight, conquer before they rise. Silence is a weapon forged in patience, sharper than the quickest tongue and deadlier than rash action. When you remain still, you turn observation into power, seeing the battlefield clearly while others reveal their strategies unknowingly. The observer's advantage is subtle but decisive. By restraining speech and motion, you force rivals into patterns, habits, and weaknesses that they believe are hidden. Politeness becomes a calculated trap. Your calm demeanor encourages overconfidence, making others underestimate your reach and insight. You listen more than you speak, absorbing intentions, missteps, and hidden motives. A deliberate pause in response is a tactical strike in itself, magnifying the impact of your eventual actions. When a colleague attempted to provoke you into a heated debate, you maintained courteous silence, letting their arguments expose overextensions and logical gaps, then calmly presented your conclusions with undeniable clarity. Protect your energy and attention as a commander shields their central position. Every word spared and every reaction withheld reinforces control and influence. Weak, respond immediately to challenge. Strong, measure each statement. Act only when it strengthens your position. Observe without interruption. Let rivals stumble into their own traps, and store your energy for the decisive moment. Strategic stillness commands respect. projects confidence, and converts inaction into influence. Internalize your approach, move with calculated restraint, and remember, silence becomes your sword. Strike only when ready. The sharpest victories are often invisible, executed with precision rather than spectacle. In any sphere where influence is currency, your first duty is to identify core threats. Not every rival holds equal power over your position. Study your environment, map relationships, and discern who can genuinely challenge your throne. Once you recognize these pivotal adversaries, employ quiet undermining. Subtle maneuvers erode their standing without drawing public attention or provoking defensive reactions. A misstep here can ignite conflict. A carefully placed action, imperceptible to onlookers, shifts perception and influence in your favor. Psychological warfare becomes the silent engine of control. Demonstrate dominance not through overt confrontation, but through invisible victories. Your competitors notice opportunities slipping, their influence waning, and their assumptions challenged, all while you maintain courteous composure. For instance, a colleague attempted to claim credit for a shared project, assuming your silence equaled passivity. You documented contributions, clarified facts in private meetings, and allowed results to speak for themselves. Within days, your authority was reinforced while theirs subtly diminished, achieving a decisive win without open conflict. Protect your focus as a general shields the command center. Energy wasted on low-priority skirmishes weakens your overarching position. Weak, confront every rival immediately. Strong, prioritize threats, act discreetly, and consolidate advantage. Each strategic pause, each measured correction, compounds into a landscape where you command respect silently, yet unmistakably. Observe attentively, act deliberately, and maintain decorum that masks your tactical depth. Transform restraint into power, subtlety into influence, and invisibility into dominance. Internalize the principle that polite precision outperforms overt aggression, and remember, strike quietly, reign decisively. Authority is perception, and every gesture shapes how the world responds to your presence. Approach each interaction as a commander surveying the battlefield. Your demeanor signals both strength and intent before words are even spoken. Controlled expression is your primary weapon. A measured smile disarms opponents, eases tension, and projects confidence while concealing strategic calculation. This is not mere politeness, it is armor, a shield against overt attacks, and a tool to preserve social capital. When a rival attempts to provoke or unsettle you, maintain your composure. In one instance, a colleague challenged your plan publicly, expecting agitation. You responded with a calm nod, acknowledged their point courteously, and subtly redirected the discussion to your strategic priorities. The outcome reinforced your authority without confrontation, demonstrating that influence can be wielded invisibly. Polite decorum extends beyond moments of direct challenge. Maintain steady tone, posture, and pacing. These subtle cues communicate dominance to observers and rivals alike. Invisible influence is the silent engine of power. Shifts in posture, timing, or emphasis can redirect attention, alter perceptions, and change the dynamics of a room without a single word of aggression. Weak react impulsively to challenge. Strong project calm, let others reveal their limitations, and allow results to affirm your command. Every micro-expression, every deliberate pause, compounds into an aura of control that rivals find difficult to counter. Use these tools to navigate meetings, negotiations, and public settings as a chess master moves pieces with foresight. Each interaction becomes a maneuver, each smile a tactical declaration. Guard your composure, cultivate presence, and let the subtle language of authority ripple outward. Remember that the mask of command is not deception. It is disciplined self-mastery that transforms politeness into power. In all arenas, maintain a balance of warmth and firmness, projecting both approachability and unassailable control. Let every gesture, word and pause serve your overarching strategy and allow the world to recognize leadership through restraint. Smile with authority, rule with intent. Every action you take should feel inevitable to others, as if the outcome was always written in the air. Move through social landscapes like a silent predator stalking its prey, unseen yet unrelenting, allowing no hesitation to betray your intentions. Preparation is deathless. Every potential challenge, every possible objection must be mapped and rehearsed in your mind before you act. A chess master does not lift a pawn without calculating consequences 4 moves ahead. Your social moves are no different. Plan them meticulously, anticipate reactions, and eliminate spontaneity that reveals weakness. When a rival attempts to undermine you, respond without overt aggression. Let results speak louder than words. Your efficiency becomes a statement of authority. Deliver a solution quietly, decisively, and allow others to witness your competence without witnessing your strategy. Non-verbal execution amplifies influence. The tilt of your head, the calm firmness in your tone, the deliberate timing of your contributions all signal control without confrontation. Invisible dominance requires cultivating perception. Guide conversations subtly, shift attention, and shape outcomes while giving the impression of normalcy. One colleague attempted to preempt your initiative by offering alternative suggestions during a meeting. You listened attentively, incorporated a small part of their input to honor decorum, and executed your plan seamlessly. By the end, the room recognized your competence, while the rival's influence faded quietly. Weak, react loudly to challenge. Strong, act deliberately. Let competence manifest and remain unseen until victory is undeniable. Each interaction becomes a calculated strike, each gesture a silent declaration of authority. Guard your intentions, sharpen your foresight, and let outcomes communicate mastery. Mastery is not loud, it is precise, controlled and unavoidable. Allow rivals to underestimate your preparation. Let them think they navigate freely, while you guide the currents invisibly. Every action, every pause, every silent decision compounds into a pattern of dominance. The throne is not seized through spectacle, but through the quiet, relentless application of skill and foresight. Strike without sound, and let the world realize your command only when the results are undeniable. Move unseen, conquer silently. Power grows quietly in networks, not in isolation. Move like a wolf among allies, strong yet strategic, feeding your pack without losing the edge of self-reliance. Reciprocal power is your weapon. Elevate those around you thoughtfully, and their loyalty becomes a subtle extension of your influence. Each alliance is a strand of controlled authority, woven carefully so that dependence never compromises sovereignty. Strengthen your allies with opportunities, mentorship and support, but never so fully that your position is diminished by their gains. The wolf feeds the pack, but the pack must not feed the wolf. Maintain independence while cultivating loyalty. Controlled loyalty ensures resilience. You are not beholden to another's whims, and your allies understand their power is granted, not assumed. Use these relationships to neutralize rivals indirectly. Observe competitors overreaching, misjudging, or acting recklessly, and allow your network to create natural checks without confrontation. Their overconfidence becomes your advantage as your allies subtly enforce boundaries and preserve your dominance. One peer attempted to challenge your proposal in a group setting. You acknowledged their point politely, delegated a minor task that aligned with their strengths, and continued your plan. By the end, the peer was satisfied, your influence solidified, and the rival's attempt to undermine you fell flat. Weak, attempt to dominate every interaction. Strong, empower strategically, remain self-reliant, let influence ripple. Micromanagement is a trap. Focus on the broader chessboard, not each individual move. A thriving alliance requires observation, calibration and restraint. Know when to support, when to step back, and when to let outcomes speak. Influence is invisible when deployed through loyal intermediaries. Your presence is felt even when absent. Power through allies does not demand favoritism. It demands calculated generosity and clarity of intent. Feed loyalty, preserve autonomy, and neutralize opposition without overt confrontation. Your network becomes a living instrument of authority, amplifying your reach, enforcing your strategy, and safeguarding your position. Maintain balance, avoid overextension, and let the pack operate efficiently under your silent guidance. Allies are mirrors of your competence. Their success reflects your leadership. Their loyalty reinforces your throne. Cultivate relationships with discipline, monitor influence carefully, and never surrender independence for temporary advantage. Every act of strategic generosity builds credibility, trust, and subtle dominance. Strike a balance between empowerment and sovereignty, guiding without control, shaping outcomes without visible force. Feed wisely, reign quietly. Every move you make is visible, even when cloaked in politeness. Life unfolds on a chessboard, each interaction a piece sliding into position, each gesture a calculated advance toward dominance. Predict opponent behavior with vigilance. Observe routines, habits, and social cues. Anticipate errors before they materialize. Your foresight becomes a silent weapon. Every conversation, every handshake, every shared insight is an opportunity to map intentions and forecast reactions. Sacrifice strategically when necessary. Conceding minor battles can open avenues for major victories later. Allow a rival to claim a small win and watch how it positions them for your greater maneuver. Control the tempo of exchanges. Decide when to advance, when to retreat, and when to observe quietly. Endgame vision governs your choices. Each polite word, each compromise, each concession serves a long-term objective. Maintain clarity on your ultimate goal while executing minor moves. Do not lose the forest for the trees. One colleague challenged your proposal in a meeting. Instead of confrontation, you acknowledged their perspective, integrated a minor suggestion that aligned with your plan, and proceeded. By the end, the group recognized your direction without conflict, and your position strengthened invisibly. Weak, react impulsively to challenges. Strong, observe patterns, anticipate responses, control timing. Each interaction is a microcosm of the greater game. One misstep can be exploited if unprepared. Measure influence carefully, balancing assertiveness with discretion, and ensure your actions advance your overarching strategy. Evaluate risks like a chess master. Each piece has value, each move consequences, each retreat temporary. Let rivals miscalculate, overreach, or exhaust themselves, while you maneuver patiently, preserving energy and resources. The interplay of patience, prediction, and tactical concession defines mastery. Keep the board in mind at all times, not just immediate skirmishes. Leverage alliances, information, and timing to maintain advantage. Your eyes must scan the board, tracking every piece, predicting multiple turns ahead. Discipline enforces focus. Do not be distracted by trivial moves or reactive impulses. Plan several sequences in advance, considering the potential reactions of each participant. Victory favors the strategist, not the impulsive, and long-term gains outweigh fleeting satisfaction. Execute each action with precision, never revealing full intent, allowing outcomes to align with your design. Command influence quietly, strategically, and persistently. Think 10 moves ahead. Politeness is not weakness. It is a shield forged in the fires of discipline. Daily rituals sculpt the mind into a fortress, each repetition building mental resilience that rivals cannot breach. Begin by training your thoughts to remain calm under pressure. Observe conflicts without reacting hastily. Let your composure become a mirror in which others see their own rashness and uncertainty. Controlled patience is your weapon. Wait for the precise moment to act, never before, never after. Resisting the impulse to strike immediately magnifies the impact of your eventual move, ensuring maximum effect with minimal exposure. Routine serves as armor. Arrive consistently, deliver reliably, uphold your commitments with unwavering steadiness. This predictability signals strength, creating invisible power that others sense but cannot counter directly. In a meeting, a peer challenged your proposal aggressively. Instead of confrontation, you acknowledged their point, incorporated a minor adjustment that aligned with your agenda, and maintained calm authority. The team recognized your steadiness, and your influence expanded without a single raised voice. Weak, react emotionally to challenge. Strong, observe, wait, and execute precisely. Condition your mind daily through meditation, reflection, and deliberate practice. Strengthen attention, focus, and clarity. Make them habitual. Mastering self-restraint allows you to strike only when it yields the greatest advantage. The predator waits silently, understanding that impatience exposes vulnerability. Your routine, like armor, signals reliability and creates silent authority. Consistency in your presence, decisions, and behavior communicates stability, drawing allies and deterring rivals. Track patterns, anticipate potential disruptions, and maintain readiness. Each small act of discipline compounds, forming a lattice of control that rivals cannot dismantle. Your calm in the face of provocation projects power, transforming politeness into a tool of influence. Let every interaction reinforce your composed presence. Command your schedule, your actions, and your reactions. Your mental conditioning, controlled patience, and structured routine intertwine, creating unbreakable will. Act with precision, strike with certainty, and maintain grace under pressure. Observe, calculate, wait, and advance. Every gesture is deliberate, every word measured. The disciplined mind commands respect silently, and your rivals falter in the shadow of your steadiness. Politeness is your iron will. Authority is not declared, it is worn like armor, invisible yet impenetrable. Position yourself above the fray, where petty conflicts cannot reach your throne. Your composure is the shield that renders attacks futile, each challenge meeting calm assessment rather than reactive energy. Move through social spaces with measured presence. Let silence and deliberate timing establish dominance without overt assertion. Social gravity draws allies and respect alike, forming an invisible perimeter that rivals cannot penetrate. Sparingly, act purposefully, and maintain consistency. Your steadiness signals unshakable power. The standard you set becomes the benchmark. Others' attempts to destabilize you fail before they even begin. In a meeting where a colleague attempted to undermine your strategy, you responded with measured acknowledgement and redirected focus to shared objectives, neutralizing the attack while enhancing your perceived authority. Weak, argue back aggressively. Strong, maintain composure, reframe the conversation, and reinforce control. Your routines, behavior, and language all reinforce psychological immunity. Predictability in leadership fosters security for others, while signaling that you are untouchable. Anticipate disruptions, maintain clarity, and protect your mental space. Your reactions must remain deliberate and unshaken, like a fortress untouched by storms. Observe, calculate, and position yourself where influence is automatic, reputation unquestioned, and authority inherent. Do not engage in unnecessary battles. Choose moments where intervention magnifies your advantage and absence increases respect. Cultivate habits that reinforce presence, confidence and silent dominance. Let every interaction enhance perception of stability and strength, and avoid entanglement in trivial conflicts that drain focus or dilute influence. Your composure, routines, and strategic detachment create a field where rivals cannot harm your status or sway your decision. Master the art of remaining above attempts at provocation. Let subtlety guide your interventions, and let calm command every outcome. Your throne is defined not by opposition conquered, but by your unassailable position. Act with patience, strike with precision, and observe without distraction. Every choice, gesture, and word reinforces the invisible shield that protects you and projects untouchable authority. Stand firm, remain composed, and let social gravity work in your favor. Remain above, untouched, unshaken. Every action you take echoes with the precision of a well-planned campaign. Your presence a battlefield where strategy dictates every move. You stand atop the throne of polite dominion, commanding attention without raising your voice, your gestures calibrated to communicate authority while masking intent. Each ritual you perform, each observation you record, every strategic adjustment in your daily life compounds into a seamless synthesis of power, a system where instinct and calculation are indistinguishable. You move like a predator, eyes scanning for opportunity, but claws sheathed in composure. The hunt is silent and the outcome predetermined by preparation, not impulsive aggression. Social interactions are your chessboard, each participant a piece whose position you subtly influence, directing the flow without apparent intervention. Your rivals, confident in their own motion, fail to perceive the careful orchestration of your maneuvers. In a meeting meant to challenge your proposals, a colleague attempted to derail a strategic plan with subtle undermining. You responded with measured acknowledgement, reframed the discussion toward shared objectives, and your calm decisiveness neutralized the threat without confrontation. Weak, react emotionally, and argue strong. Remain composed, redirect focus, and reinforce authority. The silent coup unfolds as each rival gradually recognizes their diminished influence, never perceiving the invisible hands that guided the collapse of their position. Politeness is your weapon and shield, each courteous nod and deliberate word reinforcing dominance, making resistance socially and psychologically arduous. Your routines, from the cadence of your speech to the consistency of your strategic habits, create an environment where your presence alone enforces order and stability. Authority becomes effortless, power is internalized and automatic. You cultivate psychological immunity, immune to petty provocations and external manipulations, with a mind trained to interpret threats accurately and respond only with strategic necessity. Every ally, every subordinate recognizes the standard you embody, and in doing so unwittingly reinforce your influence, creating social gravity that cannot be contested. Observe, calculate, and act with precision. Let patience dictate timing, and ensure that every intervention maximizes impact while minimizing exposure. The final form transformation is complete when your conduct, your strategy, and your social positioning converge into a unified system where politeness is inseparable from dominance. No challenge destabilizes you, no rival succeeds without your allowance. Your authority is inherent, respected, and unassailable. Command respect without arrogance, assert power without overt conflict, and maintain calm in every exchange. Let your rituals fortify your mind, your interactions reinforce your position, and your presence project untouchable authority. The ultimate transformation is mastery over self, environment, and perception, achieved through deliberate, disciplined, and polite execution. Stand as the apex of strategic finesse, where every movement signals competence, every word conveys influence, and every pause asserts control. Strike silently, reign absolutely. Every interaction is a battlefield, and mastery begins with daily vigilance. Treat each conversation, each subtle gesture, and every meeting as reconnaissance. Observe without reacting, note patterns without judgment, and allow your mind to catalog strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. Authority grows from consistency. Rivals falter not from force, but from your silent precision. Discipline your actions so that politeness becomes armor, deflecting attacks without confrontation, and strategy becomes a sword that strikes only when necessary. Small, disciplined choices compound over time. A subtle correction in a team discussion, a calm reframing of a challenge, or a measured acknowledgement of dissent can shift influence without a single raised voice. Weak, snap at opposition and escalate tension. Strong, nod, redirect and maintain composure. Your throne is unassailable, not because others fear you openly, but because your presence communicates unspoken dominance. Each micro-action signals competence. Every pause exudes control. Every courteous interaction reinforces your authority. Allow others to think they maneuver freely, while you orchestrate outcomes invisibly. Mastery is iterative. It is not a single moment, but the accumulation of precise, polite, and deliberate actions executed without fanfare. Allies recognize your steady judgment. Rivals underestimate your patient calculation, and the environment molds itself subtly to your influence. Empower yourself by remaining calm when provoked, attentive when challenged, and decisive when opportunity arises. Remember that visibility does not equal vulnerability. Remaining measured ensures you dictate the rhythm of engagement, maintain strategic patience, observe constantly, and act only with purpose. Politeness is not weakness, but the vessel through which power flows effortlessly, guiding outcomes without apparent force. Let each choice reinforce your sovereignty, each interaction strengthen your position, and each silent correction erodes rival confidence before confrontation is necessary. This disciplined orchestration transforms ordinary authority into untouchable dominance. Stand firm, execute with precision, and internalize that daily vigilance shapes your realm. Command respect through composure, assert influence through subtlety, and cultivate patience as your greatest weapon. Every disciplined action is a step toward dismantling rivals before they even recognize the threat. Embrace self-mastery, execute with tactical clarity, and allow your presence alone to dictate the boundaries of power. Politeness is my armor, strategy, my sword, and my throne untouchable.